Imagine a film that involved classical art theft, globe-trotting assassins, extremist mountain climbing, and illicit governmental operations. The movie in question is 1975's The Eiger Sanction. Naturally, a film with this many explosive tropes called for one of Hollywood's top action stars. Cue Clint Eastwood, one of the most prominent movie stars at the time. Because Clint has so many memorable films, The Eiger Sanction is often forgotten. Yet, from its origins as a book to the tragic death on the set, the film is not without its fair share of movie history. Keep watching as we unpack everything to know about one of Eastwood's lesser-known films, The Eiger Sanction. Trevanian and the source material. The Eiger Sanction is based on a novel of the same name. It was written by Trevanian. Trevanian was the pen name of Rodney William Whitaker. Under this pseudonym, he published several novels, including the widely known Shibumi and the Maine. However, The Eiger Sanction was his first. The story follows Dr. Jonathan Hemlock, a college professor and professional mountain climber. Though that's only his public persona. Hemlock is secretly a world-class government assassin who uses his ill-gotten gains to fund his collection of artworks. Hemlock is hired for one last killing or sanction before he retires. But his mission will be his most dangerous yet, as it takes place while climbing the Eiger Mountain. The story may sound silly, and many didn't realize this, but Trevanian wrote the Eiger Sanction as a type of spoof on spy novels like James Bond. In any case, the novel went on to be an international bestseller. Saddened that readers didn't realize the intentions of the book, Trevanian followed it up with the even more outlandish book, The Lou Sanction. It seemed Hollywood also missed the intentions and mockery of Trevanian's writing. Universal Studios scooped up the rights to The Eiger Sanction. And a movie like this needed a big star. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you give it a like, and subscribe to Facts First for more. Clint Eastwood helms the film. Clint Eastwood is Hollywood royalty. In his 60-year career in the film industry, he's acted, directed, produced, and has won many Academy Awards. He's accomplished pretty much everything there is to do in movies. In 1975, he was at the height of his popularity. He was fresh off the success as an actor with The Man with No Name trilogy and Dirty Harry. At this point, Eastwood had pretty much full control over his projects, and he decided to take control of the Eiger Sanction in multiple capacities. Director. Though he was a well-known actor, Eastwood didn't have much reputation as a director. He had 2 directorial efforts to his name with Universal, but he wasn't pleased with any of the results. Not only did the Eiger Sanction offer him a chance for redemption, it would also be a way Eastwood could finish his contract with Universal. Eastwood also took on the producer role. Clint Eastwood claimed he never had much interest in the spy film genre. However, by producing, the plot of the Eiger Sanction gave him a chance to shoot in a remote location away from studio interference. As the lead, he insisted on shooting the film on location to keep the cast small. Most climbing movies to this point were shot on a studio set. This would be among the first films with real mountain climbing. Eastwood even had specialized lightweight cameras developed for mountain filming. Of course, as the star of the movie, Eastwood was also going to have to learn mountain climbing. Knowing he wanted the action to look legitimate, Eastwood hired Mike Hoover as the climbing technical advisor and trainer for the movie. At 44, Eastwood was not quite in shape for intense climbing. He had done some climbing in his youth, but he insisted Hoover take him through a rigorous training course. Hoover took Eastwood to Yosemite National Park to train for the role. Hoover amusingly recalled how Eastwood used brute strength instead of technical skill for his climbing. Many scenes in the movie feature Eastwood doing his own climbing stunts. Tragedy while filming. Though Hollywood productions are full of spectacular stunts and astonishing action, it's all a form of movie magic. However, these types of movies require stuntmen, stand-ins, and specialists to pull off these moves. The film was shot on location in Switzerland, on the face of the actual Eiger Mountain. The mountain is regarded by professional climbers to be among the most dangerous undertakings in the world. It's earned the German nickname Mordwand, meaning murder wall. The Eiger has lived up to the title. It's responsible for taking dozens of lives. Tragedy unfortunately struck again on the mountain while filming the Eiger Sanction. David Knowles was hired onto the film as a climbing double and stunt photographer. One morning, Knowles, along with fellow climber Mike Hoover, set out on the mountain to get a shot. The two men were shooting footage from the climber's point of view on the face of the Eiger. As the two rappelled down a ledge, a boulder broke free from above and crashed onto them. The rock broke Hoover's pelvis and gave him deep muscle bruises. Knowles, in a worse position, was killed by the impact. The entire crew, including Clint Eastwood, were completely grief-stricken. So painful was the event that Eastwood planned to shut down production and cancel the film. However, after a wake was held for Knowles, the other climbers urged Eastwood to continue filming. After all, they claimed everyone knew the risks involved in professional rock climbing. To cancel the movie would undo all the hard work they had already put in. Furthermore, they felt walking away would make Knowles' death meaningless. Eastwood agreed. The film will always act as a memorial to David Knowles. Box office. The Eiger Sanction only hauled in $14 million at the box office. To give you some perspective, Jaws, the highest-grossing film of that year, made $133 million. Yet, the Eiger Sanction wasn't necessarily a failure. It nearly doubled its $9 million budget. Reviews. The film didn't turn out to be Clint Eastwood's highest-reviewed film either. Although he had full control of the movie, the Eiger Sanction holds a 68% on Rotten Tomatoes. Famed movie critic Roger Ebert summed up the film, claiming, quote, "It has a plot so unlikely and confused we can't believe it for much more than 15 seconds. But its action sequences are so absorbing and its mountaintop photography so compelling that we don't care." Though it wasn't a critical darling, it's nice to know the action climbing sequences the crew worked so hard on paid off. The film had another noteworthy critic. Though he received credit for the film, Trevanian later called the adaptation vapid. How the film holds up. As far as Clint Eastwood's career goes, this movie will never stack up against the likes of Unforgiven, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and $1 Million Baby. But it does have a bit of a legacy. The mountain climbing scene they worked so hard on and yielded tragedy were noticed by some. Alex Honnold, professional mountain climber and the focus of the Oscar-winning climbing documentary Free Solo, remarked on the film. After looking at climbing scenes in Hollywood films, Honnold claimed the Eiger Sanction had the most realistic climbing in any film. That's a pretty cool compliment from a living legend of mountain climbing. Our hats go off to David Knowles, Mike Hoover, and the others who made the movie so realistic. It might not be Clint Eastwood's most famous movie, but it does have enough Hollywood history and tragedy to make it worth remembering. What do you think? Where does the Eiger Sanction stack up among other Clint Eastwood movies? Should David Knowles' death have shut down the production? Let us know in the comments below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.